laissez-faire is the other leadership style that wasn't mentioned on there. Okay? Right, last one on this question. Okay? So I'm a bit behind if I was going to get this perfectly right, but we'll crack on. It's another star one, so your spellings are going to come into it. It's another 6 marker. It says down the bottom, but you can't see it yet. After a month, some of the marketing team think that Chris has an autocratic leadership style. Discuss the effectiveness of such a leadership style when managing a team of employees. So what it's not saying it's a bad thing. It's not saying it's a good thing. It's asking you to discuss the effectiveness. So therefore, as it always is, it's advantages and disadvantages. So being autocratic isn't always a bad thing. Okay? So telling people what to do and when to do it can have its positives as well as its negatives. Okay? So if Chris is autocratic, the benefits would be that workers always know what they need to do. So if you've got an autocratic leader, they might be nagging you a lot. They might be saying, right, go and do this, then come back. And you only give them little short sort of snippets of what to do. But some people like that because they know exactly what they're doing. They're not like left to go, oh, what should I do next? I'm not sure what to do. You're taking away that little bit of control by them, but some people like that. It makes it easy. I'll do my job, I'll go back, I'll ask what to do next, and I'll move on. So that's a good advantage. Okay? And I can even put this can motivate some workers to add a little bit more to it. Okay? The negatives are that some workers don't like being told what to do. All of the time. And okay, and another negative is that good ideas, because you're being autocratic, you're not listening. So your workers might have some brilliant ideas. So good ideas that could actually help this charity, could help the environment, whatever. They're all getting lost because he's not listening. So autocratic often means not listening. Okay, does that make sense? So that's looking at that leadership style and discussing some of the effectiveness it might have. You could bring in another style now, so I'm just trying to think. Like I say, I haven't looked at this. After a month, some of them does it want me to bring in democratic? I'd suggest not. I think really from this one, it would have stated if it wanted us to bring other, it would have said, discuss other styles that are available. And then you could have talked about democratic or else. So now I've got to look at that and think, well, I'm not at 6 yet. So I haven't analysed enough, I wouldn't have said, to be at 6. So I've got to think about some more advantages and disadvantages. Yeah, you could talk about an example within the charity. So you talk about autocratic being telling some of he's in the marketing department, so telling the sales staff exactly what to put on the adverts or something like that. You could talk about that. Okay. So I've got to this point, and I'm going to have to go back to advantages because I don't think I've done enough to get. I think I'd probably be saying even just from that, I could get 4 because I've talked about both sides of the argument. Okay. I'm going to try and relate it more to the charity. So what I'm going to bring out is the fact that obviously in a charity it's slightly different. You've got workers who probably are passionate. You don't work for a charity unless you want to try and help that charity, yeah? So in this case, helping the environment, helping the wildlife, okay? And because of that, those people might well have some really good ideas that will help. So you've got to listen to them. And Chris being autocratic means, I've already mentioned that. Obviously, I've already said he wouldn't listen, but I'm now trying to tie it into the business, yeah? So I think more than a private sector business, a charity's workers all really want the main aim is to help people. So you've got to listen to them and make sure that they are getting their say to try and improve the business. Well,
Like, obviously there's a bit that I'm not passionate or motivated and you know, feel affected and you can say like, because they're not like practicing their own skills and trying to improve it, they don't develop their own skills and they're not really good at it.
yeah, they're not being full employees, are they? They're not showing off all their skills because you're not listening to them and letting them do it. Okay. I need more. See, I didn't do a plan for this one. I did a plan for the last 6 one and I got through. I didn't do a plan for this.
Could you say for advantage that it was like, instead of like not like miscommunication, but like loads of people trying to like put up ideas and stuff, it's just like one straight forward.
Yeah. That's a positive of autocratic, isn't it?
Yeah.
That you got a vision and you're motivating them to go through. Okay? So,
Does this question, do you just have to point out like,
it's just a discuss question. So at the end, I'm still gonna suggest whether I think it's good or bad. It doesn't ask me to recommend, but I always think it's
like a like,
you try and give a balanced argument, but you can always say if one's better than the other. Okay. So, by being autocratic, Chris can make sure that tasks are done on time and correctly. So that's again another bonus for being autocratic. But overall, so I'm just going to sum up. Oops, probably. Okay, so I'm going to sum up overall that I don't think it's correct, that I think it'll be more demotivating to the staff, to the workers, because again, that idea, I've already mentioned why, because the idea that it's a charity and you want their ideas and you want their involvement. Okay, that one's not, hold my hands up, not as good as my last 6 marker, to be fair. And probably part of the reason is I didn't do my little bullet points. I didn't think it through first before I started writing. Okay, and if you don't plan it, especially the 6 markers, you do get to a point where you think, I've answered it all, and you read it back and you're not sure it's right. Yes, Lewis?
But I'd say tasks are done something incorrectly.
Say again.
Tasks are done something incorrectly.
On time and correctly. Okay. So, what's the matter? Oh, sorry. Okay, so that last bit, by being autocratic, Chris can make sure that tasks are done on time and correctly, but overall for GCC, this style will probably be more demotivating to workers.
how long do we have for these exams?
An hour. Yeah. So we're already at nearly 1:15 and we've done one question. So I talk too much. Okay? But I did say we might only do one question anyway, so I'm not the end of the world.